title from was from a line Caitlin had in Calm Down, Caitlin. So I'm going to try to start every podcast with that line. So we're going to start off this podcast talking about some of the new things that have been happening in the Thomas universe, I guess.
What is this podcast? Who am I?
Oh, right.
Who are you?
Oh, my goodness. Right. Okay, so I'm Michelle Hurtado. I do voices, I guess, among other things. And I'm here with my husband, Matt, who's going to be doing this podcast with me regularly. We're not sure what regularly means yet. We're going to figure that out along the way.
And I can name probably about 10 engines. So there's my qualifications.
Yeah, we started watching Thomas with our son, and we both like it. I think I like it a little bit more than you do, but it's one of oh, sorry.
What?
It's one of the shows we enjoy watching with him. So, like, not Paw Patrol.
Wow, just getting real down on Paw Patrol. Sorry if anyone who works on Paw Patrol is listening to this.
Yeah, I doubt it. So we're going to start off these podcasts talking about, like I said, some of the new things that are happening with the Thomas franchise, I guess, more to the point. And something that's new and has been kind of a topical topic.
It's a hot topic.
It's a hot topic.
Hot takes.
Is the new special that's going to be coming out sometime this year. I don't know when. And it's going to be called Journey Beyond Sodor. It's gonna be this year's Great Race. This year's the Thomas Legend of the Lost Treasure or whatever that special was called. That was a good one though. But this one is going to apparently be about James getting kidnapped, I think.
Ooh.
By some experimental engines.
What does that mean?
And that's all I know. And Thomas is going to go save him.
Are they engines that experiment on things?
Have you seen the trailer yet?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Well, they're like engines. Okay, they're like engines that were built as experiments.
Okay.
It's sort of like an Island of Misfit Toys situation going on.
Okay. So wait, they're more misfit than those dummy engines over on Steamy Misty Island?
I don't think those engines exist anymore in the Thomas canon. I think they've been like retconned completely because nobody talks about them anymore.
I just talked about them. Crash,
dash, bash, slash, and Ferdinand. Yeah, nobody in the show, in the canon, talks about them anymore. So I think they're dead. But
maybe they just have more important things to do than talk about them.
I just think they were a product of the Miller era, which is going to be more of a topic in this podcast. They were more of a product of that era, and I think that when the Brenner people came in, they were like, okay, we're done with these characters. This is stupid, and we're done. So So this special is going to be about Thomas going and meeting some experimental engines and saving James. And one of the actors that's been cast to be in this is Hugh Bonneville, who was in Downton Abbey.
Okay.
He played the dad in Downton Abbey, and
is he a cool dad?
I wasn't really a Downton Abbey sort of person ever. The episodes I saw, he seemed like a good dad, but cool. I don't
want to meet that dad.
That's an esoteric reference. That was a Tim and Eric reference. I just hit the mic, so we're probably going to get a lot of
great
feedback. Oh, you should have seen the live feed with Rob and Matt Michaud and Turtles and Matt Twillman and Tynes and Saith. I don't know how to say his name. Because like Rob kept hitting the table, so the whole live stream was just thump 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 thump.
Wow.
I remember we were all like making comments about thumping intensifies. So we're going to try to not do this in this podcast. We're going to try to avoid the thumping.
No thump. This is a no thumping podcast.
Okay. So yeah, Hugh Bonneville is going to play Merlin the Invisible Engine.
Oh, cool. So they don't have to animate him.
He's not really invisible. He thinks he can go invisible. It looks like a pretty cute special. Excuse me, I need to take a drink.
It looks like a pretty cute special.
It looks like a pretty cute special, except for the fact that the engines have more movement all of a sudden. Have you seen that?
Isn't that what they're supposed to do? They're engines.
Well, they move back and forth, but now we're getting sort of a Chuggington kind of situation where the engines are like bouncing on their chassis to like when they talk to their words, and there's been some controversy among fans of whether or not that is a good move for the franchise to take.
There's controversy?
Yeah, like a lot of people feel like they shouldn't do that. And honestly, I think it's a little weird too. I mean, I feel like if it's the new direction the show wants to take, I think they can make it work. I think it's something we'll all get used to the same way we got used to the CGI transition. But, I say I didn't get used to it because I wasn't into Thomas at that point. But, but it's just kind of weird. So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's not something I would really look at and like be like, oh wow, they're bumping now.
Well,
but I mean, I'm not that observant. There you go. I was gonna say specific, but I don't know what they're.
You'll probably see more of it when you see the movie. You'll probably notice. You'll be like, oh, they're moving a lot more now, And I'm not clear if it's like some sort of.
Is it just the new ones that move?
Well, we thought, but Thomas has been seen bouncing around too.
Yeah, but Thomas likes to copycat other engines.
Yeah, so I don't.
He's probably just like, guys, I'm cool like you. I can bounce.
Yeah, I don't know if
homies.
I don't know if it'll be like a trend that they stick to that we'll like see them do it forever. But I'd like to see going forward. I'd like to see more animated, like what they did with The Adventure Begins. I'd like to see more like CGI animated. Old episodes, old stories.
Yeah. I mean, you know what they say. There's not anything wrong with a little bit of bump around with your engine.
Bump and grind with your engine?
No, this is a child-friendly podcast.
How is anyone going to get that reference unless we say there's nothing wrong with a little bump? I don't think anybody's made that reference yet, so good job.
Thanks.
Someone needs to make the video of like one of the engines bumping around and that song over it.
Not it. That'll be our first piece of fan art. First person who sends us a fan art of...
A fan art? You mean like a fan vid?
Yeah, a fan vid of Thomas the Tank Engine with... Who sang that song?
I don't know. Some R&B artist.
R. Kelly's face on him with a little bit of bump and grind. We'll give you a shout out in the next podcast. Okay. If there's a next podcast. If we don't get shut down by then.
Shut down, like someone's going to come. Like...
Andrew Brenner's going to send us a cease and desist. No, it's like no more R. Kelly references in my Thomas podcasts. I'm the Sodor boy now.
Okay, all right. So we talked enough about Journey Beyond Sodor for now.
I think we can follow up time to time and see.
With the news. Yeah, that's pretty much all that there is to say about that right now.
Okay.
So the next segment of this podcast, we're gonna talk about an episode. We're like a different episode each podcast. So today we're going to be talking about a really special episode that's really near and dear to the hearts of the Thomas community.
I think it's probably one of the first episodes I ever saw.
Really?
I think so.
That's not great. The episode we're going to be talking about today is called Slippy Sodor.
Slippy Sodor.
It's from hold on, I have to check what season it's from.
It's from season 5.
No.
It's from season 4.
No.
7.
No.
9.
It is from the 13th season.
If you added those numbers up that I just said, you'd get somewhere around that number.
It was written by Mark Robertson.
Did he write Downton Abbey?
Probably not. I don't want to rag too much on the writers because a lot of the writers from that season, well, not a lot, I know at least one from the Miller era have chimed in and been like, hey, the script I wrote was a lot better than what happened on screen, but a lot of things were changed in between my version. And so I don't want to rag too hard on anybody. Mm-hmm. Who knows what kind of changes were made by execs or whatever. Right. So
it was his own personal Batman versus Superman.
So this is not to drag any writer through the mud, not even Sharon Miller.
Are we gonna get like a director's cut version eventually of Slippy Sodor where it's actually good? It's
actually good.
It's his original vision.
Oh Lord. Okay, but I think objectively it is a pretty poor episode. And we're gonna talk about it. So what do you remember from that episode? I rewatched it today too.
So I remember a lot from that episode. I'm a big Fast and Furious fan. So,
oh God.
I thought Sir Topham Hatt's driving and drifting skills in that episode were pretty good when he hit the bubbles.
Pretty sick.
I think he could have gone head to head with Vin Diesel.
Oh God. All right. So
Vin Diesel 10.
Okay.
Okay, no, okay, so I remember Bubbles.
Right, there's definitely Bubble. Well, Bubble Liquid.
I was talking about isn't the clown's name Bubbles?
Oh, Mr. Bubbles.
Mr. Bubbles.
Yeah.
Mr. Bubbles? No, that's
I'm honestly glad that we have not seen that character again.
He's in the other episode with the balloon, I think.
Yeah, but that's another Miller era episode. Yeah. We call that the Dark Ages episode.
The Dark Ages.
Dark Ages episodes, yeah.
What's the Golden Ages episodes?
When Andrew Brenner came in and took over, and that started with season 17, I believe.
So what do they call the model series? Or there's like the Silver Ages?
The Silver. Well, no, I guess the CGI, I don't know if the CGI era would be considered the Golden Era. I think a lot of fans would consider the model series the Golden Era. That was like when it was at its best. But I don't know. There's good things to be said about both. The problem, let me just preface this and say the problem with the Miller era episodes is that the episodes become very formulaic. The characters become either totally like out of character or just kind of flat. They're really predictable and just kind of bland, boring episodes. Like pretty much what happens is a character does something stupid. There's the 3-strike formula where the character runs into 3 different characters or runs into 3 different obstacles, then is reprimanded by Sir Topham Hatt, fixes the problem, that's it. And that's how a lot of the episodes back then went. They were just very predictable and recycled. And for railway purists, there was a lot of there was pretty much no regard for how railways worked, which is something that people that like Thomas have come to appreciate, because the Reverend Audrey was really into railways and how they worked, and he used Thomas as a way to teach children about how railways worked and stuff.
Right.
And the Sharon Miller era just kind of threw all that out the window. So like brake vans are not used in the Miller era. Like railway rules are not observed, nothing like that. Trains will just stop dead on in the middle of like the railway, and like of the main line will just stop dead on to talk to another engine.
So what's the era that we're in right now called?
We're in the Brenner era.
Okay.
We're on season 20 right now.
In season 20, and so it's more realistic now.
Oh yeah, realistic, quote unquote.
Yeah, but so
there's more observation. I mean, there's definitely like 100% more observation for how railways work and railway rules. And
what are there like official railway rules? That's a hard thing to say.
Yeah.
Are there official railway rules regulating how far a train can jump over a bridge?
Yeah, that's a great exception that caused a lot of controversy. But we're getting way off track.
Okay, right. Slippy Sodor.
Sodor.
We're slippy off topic.
What I don't get is why they called it Slippy Sodor. I'm not even 100% sure that Slippy is a word.
I think Slippy was the name of the frog in Star Fox.
Yeah, well, I still don't know if it's... Like, why didn't they call it Slippery Sodor? That would have made so much more sense. I don't understand.
There's a lot more things that are wrong with the episode than just the name.
Yeah, well, I thought that was a good place to start. So, basically in this episode...
They should have called it Unsecured Cargo Sodor.
Yeah, right? So basically in this episode, Thomas has to deliver bubble liquid for Mr. Bubbles the Clown to his event, his Bubbles party or whatever it is. And before he does this, he has to get his funnel replaced.
Okay.
And they give him a really goofy looking funnel. And he's really embarrassed about his engine friends seeing him. And so the 3-strike formula happens when he runs into 3 different of the engine characters. I think he runs into like James, Gordon, and then Henry, and all 3 of them laugh at him, and then he like zooms away really fast, and they keep telling him like, go slow, Thomas, or you'll spill the bubble liquid, but there's like absolutely no cover on the bubble liquid whatsoever. So it's like, it doesn't realistically, like, it wouldn't matter how fast or how slow he went, the bubble liquid would still slosh out. But anyway, so it sloshes out. It apparently is just like so volatile that it causes Sir Topham Hatt's car to constantly spin out into things.
Right.
And while they're following him. And then finally when he gets to Knapford, the bubble liquid's just completely gone because he sloshed it all out.
It's Mr. Bubbles' special bubble liquid.
I guess. Anyway, it's a completely absurd episode. It's boring. It's flat. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I mean, I guess the things wrong with it really are just, like, who would ever put an unsecured thing of bubble liquid on someone's flatbed?
Yeah, well, it's secured technically, but it doesn't have a top on it. So, like, why are they blaming this on Thomas when they didn't put a top on the bubble liquid?
I don't.
It's not really his fault that they didn't put a top on the...
Does Sir Topham Hatt ever accept responsibility for his...
No, of course not. Of course not.
Never?
No, because that's not how the episode sees it. The episode, of course, frames Thomas as the responsible party because he was so embarrassed that he was going faster than he should have been. So I guess he goes back to Brindham Docks and he gets a new thing of bubble liquid, and then he goes again, but he goes slower, and he doesn't care that his friends are laughing at him.
Okay.
Because, like, some kids saw him and thought he looked cool with his new funnel or something, so...
Is Cranky in this episode?
Yeah, but I don't think he has, like, any speaking lines.
Okay.
Well, yeah, obviously, speaking.
All right. Yeah, that takes down another notch for me.
You see him, but I don't think he says anything.
All right.
But that's another formula that would reappear in the Miller era episodes, is that the engine would be embarrassed about something. Like James in his pink paint, he was embarrassed about it, so he hid. Or Diesel, something about he didn't want to do something. But then the engines like see kids, and the kids approve of what it is they're doing. So it's like fine that all their engine friends think they look stupid, and then like that's like a reoccurring resolution that pops up.
Interesting.
It's just, it's weird. But anyway, so he goes back to Knapford, he gets the bubble liquid, goes slower, and then doesn't slosh it. So I guess the moral of the story is don't be embarrassed of yourself or you'll be careless. It's hard to really pull a moral out of that.
Yeah. Slow and slippery. That's what the episode should have been called.
Better than Slippy Sodor, my goodness. But anyway, so that's pretty much the episode.
Yeah, I mean, how many crankies out of 5 would he get?
Okay, wait a second. I thought Gordon was the best character, but I'm starting to think Cranky is...
No, Gordon's the best engine.
Oh, okay. Cranky's the best character.
Cranky's the best character.
Okay. How many Crankies would I give it? Like... I'm trying not to be too, like, mean.
Okay,
but...
how about say one good thing about the episode before we're done?
Oh my goodness. One good thing. Victor and Kevin are in it.
Oh yeah? What did they do?
They fit Thomas's new funnel on him. Although, like I was saying to you earlier, David Badella, who does Victor's voice, he sounds really unenthusiastic in that episode. Like, he sounds like just really bummed out to be doing this job. He doesn't sound like that later on. There's just something about that episode. Victor's just like, okay, Thomas, let's put your funnel on now, and it just, I don't know. It's like, I guess I don't blame him.
Yeah, he knew.
He
knew it was a 1 cranky out of 5 situation.
If that, oh my goodness. I would say, yeah, I think the only good thing about that episode, in my opinion, is the fact that Victor and Kevin are in it. And Victor and Kevin, incidentally, in my opinion, are the only really, like, good things, like, really strong characters that came out of that Miller era. Yeah. And I don't know how. I don't know how characters that were so well written came out of that era. I don't know, but they did. And I think this is probably a topic for another podcast, but I think Victor had one of the strongest character backstories too.
Yeah. We should do a character backstory podcast.
We should. And we should talk about Blue Mountain Mystery, which that's another special I enjoyed that came out of that Dark Ages era. But anyway, so that's Slippery Sodor. So I would give it a a half cranky.
A half cranky.
Out of 5.
A Kevin.
If that.
You give it a Kevin out of 5 crankies.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Cool. Well, there you have it.
What would you give it? Do you remember anything about it? What would you give it?
I said I gave it 1 cranky out of 5.
1 cranky out of 5. Okay.
1 cranky.
All right, so that's all we want to say about Slippy Sodor.
That's, I think, all I can say about Slippy Sodor.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to move on to questions that I asked for on Twitter. We're probably only going to do 2 or 3 of these.
But don't fret, because we'll get to other questions other times. So.
Right. So one question that I liked that I thought would apply to both of us was, this was directed at me, but of course we can both answer it. As a mother, as parents of a young Thomas fan, what was your initial reaction to the older fan base? This is from I don't know if I should read the Twitter handle or not.
I mean, yeah, they asked. Yeah, just give him a shout out.
Okay, this is from In Scale Guy 1 on Twitter.
Okay. All right, In Scale Guy 1. Well, you answer first. They asked you.
Okay, so I'm going to... I don't know how far back I should go here, because one of the other questions asked a, like, Thomas history sort of thing. But basically, I started to enjoy the show independent of Lucas, and I'll just say for this time being that I wasn't really into Thomas as a kid, because it didn't really come on anywhere that I could have watched it, so I didn't really watch it. But anyway, I started watching it with Lucas, and I started enjoying it independently of him once we started watching the Andrew Brenner episodes, which actually started airing not long after he was born, or around that time. And I was wondering, like, I was thinking, you know, everything has a fan base. Like, My Little Pony has a fan base. So I figured Thomas had to. So I Googled adult Thomas fan base. And
oh, wow.
I know, a little risky.
That's a risky Google.
Risky, but I came across Sodor Island fan site, also known as SIF, which is run by Ryan and Simon and several other people in the community. And it's been around since 2002. It's, like, amazing. And that's kind of where I started meeting older Thomas fans, and it's kind of just history from there. And I'll say my impressions of it. I'm just really impressed with how creative this community is. That's something that really took me by surprise. I don't think I've ever been in a fan community that's so creative or so productive. Like, the stuff you guys come up with, like, either whether you're making models on the computer or making models just, you know, like physical models, or it's amazing what some people come up with in this community, and everyone's so talented, and so yeah, it's just I'm really impressed with it.
Cool.
What about you? You're not really part of it, I guess.
Yeah. I guess, like, my first exposure to it, and I guess these people are, like, older. I don't know, like, when we say older, are we talking about people that are, like, above the target demographic for Thomas the Tank Engine?
Yeah. Well, these are all people that are pretty much, like, I'd say over 14 or 15.
I guess, yeah, my, like, first exposure to older Thomas fans is, like, probably back to the YTMND days, and hearing, like, Thomas, the model theme song, like, mixed together with other ridiculous songs.
Would that be fans that did that, though, or?
I wouldn't have thought to do that. I don't know, maybe not. But
maybe, though, because no, it's funny though, because, like, it seems like almost every time I go somewhere and Lucas is wearing, like, a Thomas shirt or has a Thomas toy or something, somebody, I'm not, like, almost every time we go somewhere, somebody will say to me, "Oh, I loved that show growing up," or "Oh, my kids love that," or so. I mean, I think Thomas is very much part of the, I don't know, like, pop culture mindset, really.
Oh, and there's that Skyrim mod. Where all the dragons are trains.
Right. I think there's some Fallout mods that put Thomas in.
Nice. I can see that.
Yeah. So
I would like to see, like, a post-apocalyptic Thomas universe.
That would be really interesting. I wonder, I want to say someone's made or thought of or talked about a series that kind of, like, took that idea, but I don't know that I don't know for sure if that's been fleshed out.
It should be.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting
anyone who's
idea.
Listening, go do it.
I've thought about it. I've thought about, like, a post-apocalyptic situation, like, how would the engines get around? Because, like, where would they get coal from if, like, society has collapsed? And yeah, I've thought about all that. So I don't know. Maybe that'll be
Kevin could do it.
Where would he get the coal from?
I don't, like, he's got a hook.
Eventually, they're gonna run out of coal. Like, no one's gonna be exporting it, so they're gonna stop moving.
They have, like, a coal mine, don't they?
Maybe you'd need, like, a human character or something. Like, you need, like, humans to still be
they
there.
could, like, remake or, like, do a sequel to The Magic Railway, and Alec Baldwin's, like, the last human alive.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed Magic Railroad.
Yeah,
so
the engines refer to him as, like, the coal miner. Cranky.
I'm just seeing the woodsman from Twin Peaks. Yeah. Honestly, like
they go up to Cranky and they're like we're running low, Cranky. He's like, you guys need to go see the coal miner.
Is that your Cranky voice? That's like your edgy post-apocalyptic Cranky voice.
Yeah, that's my
Cranky that's my becomes rusty, kind of a magi.
Yeah, he got rusty.
Okay, are we done with that question?
Sure.
Now, or? Okay.
Yes.
Well, the other question was that I was thinking of doing from Milan, who's a good friend of mine, was earliest Thomas memories. But I don't know, is that kind of...
I mean, I just told you mine was probably like...
Yeah, well, I'll go ahead and say mine real quick, because I had thought about it. Basically, like I said, I didn't really watch Thomas as a kid because it didn't come on anywhere that I could see it. Like, I know Shining Time Station was on PBS, but for some reason it just never came on when I watched PBS. So I didn't really watch Thomas as a kid. I was deprived of that experience, unfortunately. But I started watching it when Lucas was, I don't know, 2 or so. We started watching Sprout, which is an American channel that airs like kid shows. It's kind of like Milkshake in the UK. And it used to air like Fireman Sam and Thomas. I don't know. We stopped watching because they would change their programming every 5 seconds. But they would show the Sharon Miller era episodes, and that was when I was like, oh wow, Thomas is in CGI now. That's weird. And those episodes I didn't hate. Like, I kind of grew to sort of like the characters, and it was one of the things that I enjoyed watching with Lucas. There were some shows that would come on that I really hated, but I watched with him, but I really enjoyed that one. And so you know, it was just kind of there. But then we stopped watching Sprout, and you started looking for Thomas episodes for Lucas on YouTube. Am I taking too long to answer this?
No.
Oh, okay. We started looking for Thomas episodes on YouTube, and that's when we started finding the newer ones that the Brenner people had done. And that's when you found Last Train for Christmas, which was the first Brenner episode I had seen. And you're like, oh, come in here, like, Hero just did a really cool thing. And,
oh, yeah, Hero did a really cool thing.
Yeah, you're like, this is so awesome. And so I came in and I was like, whoa, this is like a really good episode. This is not some formulaic nonsense. Like, this was really good. And so after that, we started watching more of it, and we like, I think we binge watched all the specials. And remember, we like watched them after Lucas went to bed. We'd watch them together.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it started. I was like, this is a really cute show with really endearing characters. And so, yeah, that's my story. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's a good enough story as any.
Did you have another question?
I wanted to read this one. Rosie's revamp and what it could mean for the future.
This is from
To Purple Beanie.
To Purple Beanie.
At Lightning 63 on.
Yeah, he's the friend of mine too.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I called him the Purple Beanie Baby for so long. I don't know why. I just saw Beanie and it translated to Beanie Baby in my mind, but it's To Purple Beanie. So anyway, Rosie's revamp and what it could mean for the future. Do you know anything about this?
I don't, but I have ideas. I mean, if I was gonna revamp,
let's hear
Rosie,
your ideas first.
Oh man, there's so many. Like, okay, so
I'm envisioning like some Transformers stuff here.
Oh no, I wasn't going that far, but like, just the word revamp got me thinking like underworld and like vampires. And I was like, what
so
if
she'll be like a vampire engine?
Yeah, no, just like a goth, like, you know, just like lots of eyeliner. We don't see many engines with makeup except for Daisy, I guess.
Oh my god, you're right. You're right though, we don't.
Yeah, but like she could just be like,
I'm trying to dip my Rosie voice.
I've been shunned by Thomas for so long.
What's my Rosie voice? I've been shunned by Thomas for so long. Nobody understands me. Nobody. I'm gonna go listen to The Cure in my shed by myself. Something like that, right? I don't know.
Right, yeah.
Is that kind of goth?
Yeah, like Amy Lee.
Oh, an Amy Lee goth.
An Amy Lee goth.
Not a Cure Smiths kind of goth.
They can overlap. I don't want to.
I'd want Rosie to be like a cool goth, like listen to actually good music.
Wow.
Amy Lee.
Wow.
Amy Lee is good music. I'm not saying she's
throwing
not
down right now.
No, I just want to make sure it's like Amy Lee, The Cure, and the Smiths, not like Amy Lee and like, you know, one of those bands from the like early 2000s or something. Like, I want her to be real about it.
Okay. So what? Yeah. What?
So she'll be painted black and like have black eyeliner. And...
yeah, we could do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do like a Photoshop edit.
Yeah, and we should have like the Hot Topic symbol on her buffer.
Would she want to wear labels though? Because she'd probably be against capitalism.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think I took this idea too far already.
She wouldn't want to work for the Topham hat anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you just tell me what Rosie?
I'm against the capitalist machine. What?
Why don't you just tell me what the actual thing is?
Okay. The actual revamp or change is that basically she's not pink anymore. She's like a reddish, like a red color. And she has a headlamp, which I think is pretty cool. I think she's actually had that for a while. We've seen her in the background. She's had her little headlamp, kind of like Hero has. Uh-huh. And on her side it says NWR for Northwestern Railway.
Okay, I thought that was like a wrestling thing at first when you just said it, but
No, she's not a... Oh my gosh, imagine engine wrestling.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Well, now since they're bouncing around, they might as well.
Just like a destruction derby?
Oh, like in the new Cars movie. Sorry, spoilers. But...
Wow, spoiler.
Well, you kind of know that from the trailer. They showed the demolition derby in the trailer.
Yeah.
But anyway, demolition derby with engines. Oh, that's what they do at night after everyone goes to sleep.
Yeah, engine fight club.
Engine fight club.
Yeah, they just do it in the Steamworks.
Oh. Can you imagine? Victor's like selling tickets and like bets for who's gonna.
Kevin's at the door, like making sure nobody comes in. Like,
all right, back up. You're not. That sounds like cranky, right?
Yeah,
that sounds like doesn't sound like
Kevin.
Kevin wouldn't be a good bouncer. I think
Kevin's not good at anything.
People would just push past him. Victor would have to hire like Sydney or Paxton or something. No, I guess they wouldn't really be good bouncers either. They'd be kind of dumb. Like Diesel or something.
Diesel 10, he just like swings his.
Diesel 10 would be like competing in the demolition. He'd probably be like the head competitor.
That's not fair. He's got a snippy.
Well, but everybody would want him to because they would be like guaranteed to win. But then Marion shows up one night. And now Diesel 10 has like an equal match with his claw.
Yeah.
Remember we used to talk about that about Marion and
claw
Diesel
battles.
10.
Yeah, claw fights. Yeah, we're writing our like Thomas Rocky Balboa special right now.
We're like giving away some really good ideas right now. We need to like leave it at that because I think we could probably...
What if you made a Thomas special that was about Rocky, the engine, and you called it Rocky, and it was about him in the fighting ring?
Oh, like the crane.
Yeah.
Who would be his trainer? Like Victor, I guess?
No, it'd have to be like Steven or like...
Steven and Glenn going like 10 miles per hour next to him. Come on, Sonny, you can do it.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd watch that.
Oh Lord. Okay,
so Rosie's revamp. So
Rosie's revamp.
So this revamp just consists of her getting painted?
Yeah, and a headlamp.
Does she actually get a personality now?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping they're gonna do more with her. I have actually kind of fleshed her out in my mind as to who and like what she is.
Who is she?
Well, I like to see her again. She hasn't really done much in the recent years. Like I think the last time she had a significant speaking part was in the Miller era, when she was like splashing in the mud with Thomas or something. But I would like to see a Rosie who is really ambitious and really feisty and kind of tends to bite off more than she can chew. And doesn't like being underestimated. But she's also really sweet. But she tends to get herself into trouble because she kind of overestimates her abilities sometimes. And she thinks she wants... I kind of got that from what was it from? Oh, from this episode in the model era. Is it Rosie's Funfair Special, where Emily has to take this Funfair Special train and Rosie's going to be her back engine, but Rosie doesn't want to be the back engine. She wants to be the front engine, but she's just a tank engine, so she can't pull something that heavy on her own. And so she attempts to do it. I think she attempts to do it by herself, or she like tricks Emily into being the back engine or something and ends up messing it up. And that's kind of where I got that from, was that idea of her character being feisty. And I kind of did, I don't know, you saw that little skit I did on my Kildane Productions channel, where you remember where I did it in trains, and Emily and Rosie are talking, and Emily's like, "You're just a little tank engine, Rosie. You can't pull a big freight like that." And Rosie, like, she gets it into her head that Emily is just being selfish,
Yeah.
She's just being selfish, and then she like goes to the docks and she's gonna convince Cranky to. Anyway, that's a whole other. I haven't fleshed that out yet, but
yeah. There was one thing that you said that I wanted just to ask the audience. So you asked us questions. This is my question for you guys and girls out there. You said that she likes to bite off more than she can chew.
Right.
Engines have mouths and teeth.
Oh my gosh.
So do they eat? Can they bite?
We don't ever see
How
them
far
eat.
back do their mouths go?
Oh my gosh.
I want to know. Like, if Sir Tom Hat wanted to, could he stick his arm inside of an engine's mouth?
Okay, his arm. All right. Okay.
Or his hat.
Well, I've wondered if like engines have to see the dentist because they have teeth. We see that they have teeth.
Is Victor the dentist?
I don't think so. I don't know. Probably not. I mean, he's like an engineer. People call him like...
He's an engineer.
People call him like the train doctor, but I don't... Like, he's like an engineer. He's like a, which I guess is a trained doctor technically, but I don't think he'd be the dentist.
That's not the point. I want everyone to write in the comments for whatever this is, how far back you think an engine's mouth goes. And what their bite force is. If they can bite, I want to know, because that'd be really scary. I wouldn't want an engine to bite me.
We're inviting some troublesome answers, I think, with that question. How far back can an engine?
Okay, this is a PG podcast.
So let's keep the answers to to PG. I'm sure there's some DeviantArt pictures and fanfic out there that would answer our question.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let me revise my question. If you were to stick your arm, only your arm, inside of an engine's mouth, how far back could it go?
All right. Okay.
And also, if they wanted to, do you think they could bite your arm off?
Okay. Could they eat a human?
Could they? Would they? Where would it go? Does it go into their boiler?
I don't know. I don't know if they have like a throat and an esophagus.
Do they have vocal cords? Like, how does?
Well, they must, because they talk.
I want to see like
anatomy. Anatomy of an engine.
You know that famous one from like Leonardo da Vinci, where it's like the dude that's got his arms out.
What is that called?
I don't know, but I want to see it. But like
Grey's Anatomy.
Sure, I want to see like Thomas's anatomy. Gordon's anatomy. I just want to see like a picture of what.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
like a cross section.
Yeah, this has been the first and probably last.
No, I'm having fun. I want to do this again.
I'm having fun.
So this has been the first episode podcast of
Train
Good
Boys.
Morning. Good Morning Sodor. This is going to be a morning, hopefully aired podcast. We're doing this at 10 p.m. But I think we're going to try to put it out at our time, midnight, so it gets out at 6
Good morning.
UK time. Yeah.
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 So, okay. All right. So that's been our episode, and hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. And
if you want to ask questions, direct them at, what's your Twitter name?
Michelle H. Voices, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or put them in the comments of the YouTube video or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think that's where we're going to upload it for now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right.
Oh, let me throw a shout out real quick.
Everybody already stopped listening.
Probably. I'm just going to do it anyway. So I'm going to be having a casting call pretty quick on my channel pretty soon for this project that you and I are going to work on with our kid. And it's, well, and among other people as well.
It's going to be a cross-section of an engine's anatomy.
Yeah, no. It's going to be, I'm going to be very kind of vague about it like I am on my video, which I've already made. I just haven't posted it. I may have actually posted it by the time we publish this. Maybe I'll just cut out this part of the podcast because I was going to give a shout out, but maybe we'll just cut that part out.
Okay, what are we shouting out to, though?
To the casting call that let's forget about it.
All right.
Okay. Let's just end it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to make the website oldthomasfansmeet.com, then go for it. I'm giving you the idea now. You make $1 million.
Like a dating site for Thomas fans?
It doesn't have to be dating. It just be casual encounters.
Oh.
For old Thomas fans.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been Good Morning. The first episode of Good Morning Sodor. We hope you enjoyed it.
Andrew Brenner, if you're listening, please don't send us a cease and desist.
Character defamation suit. So just leave your comments. Let us know what you think. Your answers to our questions, if applicable. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon again with this podcast. So.
Right. And if you want to send pictures of what you think something going into an engine's mouth looks like, please send them to Michelle's Twitter account, not mine.
No pictures of things going into... Okay, all right. We'll talk to you guys later.